Philippe Sands, we welcome you again here from overseas. What do you make of this, I think, very commendable beginning of the inquiry that has gone on about this? Marjorie Cohen has given us a to-do list for the committee, which we appreciate, and I think that's a good start. And I'd like to ask you and any other, the witnesses, other things that they, pursuits and means of inquiry that we might engage in.
Thank you very much, sir, for that question.
Sir, would you turn on your mic, please?
Thank you very much for that question, sir. I mean, I think the country, if I may say, finds itself at an important moment, because I think it's in everyone's interests that on this issue there is a degree of uniting and moving on, particularly in relation to the military interrogations. They have, to the best of my knowledge, come to an end in terms of their abusive characteristic, although there is the issue of the CIA stuff. Nevertheless, looking back to history is important as part of that process of moving on. And the Military Commissions Act of 2006, in that regard, is extremely unhelpful because whatever it purports to do in relation to immunization of lawyers or anyone else involved, it does sort of freeze the process of investigation. It seems to me that to enable the United States to move on, and its allies with it, it would be extremely useful to throw the spotlight onto what actually happened during 2002. I note from the exchange of letters, sir, between you and the Office of the Vice President that Mr. Addington indicates that he may be willing to come to address certain matters. One of the matters that he addresses, or says that he would possibly be willing to come, is to seek material information on, and I quote, personal knowledge of key historical facts, unquote. Now, those have not yet emerged in a forum such as this. Mr. Addington, in the story I looked at, appears throughout the story. He was deeply involved in the decision to get rid of Geneva. He was deeply involved in the decision to move to aggressive interrogation, including through the DOJ memos. He visited Guantanamo at the end of September 2002 and met with Major General Dunleavy and Lieutenant Colonel Beaver. And the accounts that I received from them on the record, as I describe in the book, is that he was, in effect, the leader of the pack, and he was the person who was driving through the policy. And I think questions and issues that go to that role may be extremely important. He was closely assisted by his friend and confidant, Mr. Haynes. When the request that essentially had been imposed from the top but then made its way back up to the Pentagon via General Hill in Southcom made its way to General Myers, I describe in the book how General Myers' lawyer, Jane Dalton, who I think you might also profitably talk to, described to Alberto Mora how the assessment that they would have liked to have made in Joint Chiefs never happened because Jim Haynes intervened to short-circuit the process. I think it would be useful, sir, to focus on the facts, and with great respect, I don't think there's a great deal of utility to teasing out the issues of what actually constitutes severe mental pain and suffering. There's a huge jurisprudence on it in American law. I'm not expert on that. I do know about the jurisprudence in international law, and one thing that one learns is you treat each case on its own merits. You can't come up with abstract definitions, and that's got to be the right approach.
We haven't